Being broke isn't just about not earning enough. It's about repeating money mistakes you don't even realize you're making. What are the hidden financial traps that keep millions of people stuck paycheck to paycheck? And how can you avoid them before it's too late? In this video, I'll reveal the most common mistakes that silently drain your wealth and the smarter moves you can make to finally break free. Ever wondered why, no matter how much you earn, your bank balance never seems to grow? I've been there, and these mistakes were the reason. By the end, you'll know exactly which financial habits to cut out and what to do instead, so you can finally start building the wealth you deserve. Imagine walking into a store in downtown Chicago. You see a flashy display advertising the latest tech gadget. The salesperson smiles, explaining all the features, the limited time offer, and the free accessories. You're tempted because it feels like a great deal. You buy it on credit, and then you walk out feeling accomplished, while a small part of your future wealth silently slips away. This isn't a one-off story. It's the daily reality for millions of Americans. Small, invisible mistakes, what I like to call wealth leaks, accumulate over time and quietly prevent people from ever achieving financial freedom. And here's the kicker: most people don't even realize they're making them. Morgan Housel, author of The Psychology of Money, said it best. Spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. Yet, we live in a world where appearances often trump actual financial health. People buy new cars they can't afford, keep up with friends who earn more, and inflate lifestyles to signal success. The result is the same everywhere. Debt rises, savings shrink, and opportunities pass them by. Let's take a real example. Jennifer, a 29-year-old marketing professional in New York, makes $85,000 a year. She drives a leased luxury car, pays for multiple streaming services, and spends hundreds every month on dining out. On paper, she earns a good salary, but she's living paycheck to paycheck, barely saving, and her credit card debt grows every month. She's a classic case of a financial trap that is easy to fall into, confusing income with wealth. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep. Too many people focus solely on the first while ignoring the second. They assume that because they have a high-paying job, they're financially secure. But financial security is built on consistency, planning, and avoiding mistakes that silently drain your resources. One of the biggest mistakes people make is ignoring the compounding power of money, or, more accurately, ignoring the compounding damage of debt. Consider high-interest credit cards. If you carry a $5,000 balance at 20% interest, by the end of the year, you'll owe more than $6,000 if you only make minimum payments. The snowball effect of these mistakes can derail your financial journey for years. And yet, most people treat credit like free money, underestimating how fast it works against them. Another common trap is procrastination. People say, "I'll start saving when I make more money," or "I'll invest next year." The problem is, time is the most valuable asset in wealth creation. Missing even a few years of investing early drastically changes your potential by 2026. Compound interest doesn't wait. It rewards action today, not perfection tomorrow. It's also easy to underestimate the psychological mistakes that keep people broke. Fear, overconfidence, envy, and procrastination often control decisions more than logic. Someone might earn a decent income, yet avoid investing because they're afraid of losing money. Another person might overspend to keep up with peers, convinced it's necessary to signal success. These mental pitfalls silently drain financial potential, yet they are entirely avoidable once you recognize them. Let's talk about mindset. Many people believe that wealth is purely a function of how hard you work. But working hard without working smart often leads to burnout, debt, and frustration. The wealthy don't just work. They think strategically about money, investments, and habits. They avoid common traps by focusing on the long-term effect of their decisions, not just immediate gratification. So here's the truth. Being broke isn't always about bad luck. Most of the time, it's about repeated mistakes, often invisible, repeated over months and years. And the scary part? Many of these mistakes feel normal because they're so common. If everyone around you is living paycheck to paycheck, spending impulsively, or ignoring investments, it starts to feel like the standard. But it isn't. It's the trap. By recognizing these invisible traps, you take the first step toward breaking the cycle. You start questioning your spending, your assumptions, and your habits. You start seeing that wealth isn't just about earning. It's about protecting and growing what you already have. And that, by itself, can change your trajectory before 2026. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the specific financial mistakes people make every day, from overspending to ignoring investments, and show you exactly how to avoid them before they cost you your financial future. Imagine waking up in Los Angeles, scrolling through your phone, and seeing friends flaunting luxury vacations, designer clothes, and the latest gadgets. The temptation to keep up is constant. Social media doesn't just show lifestyles, it sets invisible benchmarks, silently pressuring you to spend more than you should. And this pressure is one of the biggest thieves of wealth. Spending mistakes are deceptively simple. On the surface, buying a new phone, dining out at trendy restaurants, or upgrading your car seems harmless. But multiply these small decisions across weeks, months, and years, and they quietly add up to tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars lost. Money that could have been invested, compounded, and grown. Let's look at a real-world example. Mark, a 32-year-old software engineer in Austin, earns $95,000 a year. He spends $600 a month on dining, $400 on subscriptions, $700 on a car lease, and $250 on unnecessary gadgets. At the end of the year, he has almost nothing left to save or invest. Yet Mark feels financially comfortable because he has a steady income. This is a trap that many high-income earners fall into. Lifestyle inflation. As your income rises, so does your spending, leaving wealth creation stagnant. The key mistake here is confusing lifestyle with financial freedom. Wealth isn't about what you can spend. It's about what you can keep and grow. Every dollar you spend unnecessarily is a dollar that won't work for you in the future. Compound interest doesn't take vacations. It doesn't splurge on gadgets. It grows quietly, steadily, every day you let it. Another common spending trap is instant gratification. We live in a world designed to make us spend impulsively. One-click shopping, buy now, pay later financing, flashy advertisements, all push us to consume now rather than invest in our future. People will spend thousands on items they don't need while avoiding putting $50 a month into an investment account. The paradox is simple. Short-term pleasure often destroys long-term wealth. Even people with moderate incomes can fall prey to this. Take Sarah, a teacher in New York City. She earns $55,000 a year, but carries $15,000 in credit card debt from years of impulsive spending. Her minimum payments eat her budget, her interest compounds, and her dreams of saving or investing remain out of reach. By contrast, a frugal peer with the same salary, careful budgeting, and disciplined savings can grow a small but meaningful investment portfolio, steadily compounding toward financial independence. One of the hardest lessons to learn is the danger of lifestyle comparisons. We constantly measure ourselves against friends, coworkers, or even strangers online. If they can afford it, why can't I? The problem is that most people only showcase their highs, not the sacrifices, debts, or struggles behind the scenes. Chasing appearances can keep you broke faster than any bad investment. Another subtle spending mistake is failing to track your money. Without awareness, even small leaks add up. Subscriptions renew automatically, impulse purchases sneak into your bills, and minor fees quietly drain your accounts. One person might spend $200 a month on small, unnoticed expenses. Over 10 years, that's $24,000 lost to invisible leaks. Money that could have been invested and compounded into a serious nest egg. So how do you avoid these spending traps? First, awareness. Track every dollar for a few months to see where it goes. You can't fix what you don't see. Second, define your financial priorities. What are you saving for? Investments, early retirement, owning a home, or financial security? Let these goals guide your spending choices. Third, delay gratification. Before any non-essential purchase, ask, will this bring me closer to wealth or farther away? That simple pause can prevent thousands in wasted money. Finally, consider this mindset shift. Every dollar you don't spend unnecessarily is a soldier working for you. Each saved dollar can be invested, compounded, and multiplied over time. The earlier you start, the bigger the army grows. Spending less isn't deprivation, it's empowerment. It's giving your money a chance to work for you instead of watching it vanish in a swirl of impulsive choices. In the next chapter, we'll examine investment mistakes, the errors that not only waste money, but prevent it from growing, and show you how to make your money truly work for you before 2026. Imagine two people sitting at their kitchen tables in Los Angeles. Both earn $80,000 a year. Both save $10,000 annually. But their financial futures are drastically different. Why? Because one makes wise investment decisions, while the other falls into common traps that silently eat away at wealth. Investment mistakes are more than bad luck. They're often a product of fear, ignorance, or following the crowd. And in the United States, where opportunities to invest are plentiful, these mistakes are especially costly. They prevent money from growing and keep people trapped in a cycle of work without real financial progress. Let's start with the most common trap: timing the market. Many people obsess over when to buy or sell, hoping to predict market highs and lows. They'll hear news of a downturn, panic, and sell their investments at a loss. Then, when the market rebounds, they've missed the gains. Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, and countless other successful investors didn't time the market. They stayed invested consistently, letting compounding work its magic. Trying to beat the market often leads to the opposite, falling behind. Another costly mistake is chasing trends or hot investments. Cryptocurrency, meme stocks, NFTs, these buzzwords dominate headlines and social feeds. People jump in without understanding the fundamentals, driven by fear of missing out. While some early adopters profit massively, the majority lose money when the hype dies down. The lesson? Invest in what you understand, and don't let hype dictate your decisions. A third mistake is neglecting diversification. Imagine putting all your money into a single stock because it's popular or you feel confident in it. If that company underperforms or fails, your entire portfolio suffers. Diversification is the key to spreading risk. Balanced portfolios, index funds, and ETFs allow your money to grow while protecting you from catastrophic losses. Ignoring this principle is like walking a tightrope without a safety net. Then there's the mistake of procrastination, waiting to invest because you think you need enough money or perfect timing. This is one of the deadliest errors. Even small, consistent investments compound dramatically over time. Someone investing $300 a month from age 25 will have a vastly different financial situation by 2026 compared to someone starting at 35, even if the monthly contribution later is larger. Time is your most powerful asset. Delaying sacrifices the compounding advantage. Fees and hidden costs are another silent killer. High-fee mutual funds, unnecessary trading commissions, and financial products with embedded costs can slowly erode returns. Many investors don't realize that paying 2% annually in fees might cost them tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars over decades. Warren Buffett has repeatedly emphasized low-cost index funds for this reason. Choosing the wrong investment vehicle can silently sabotage your wealth-building efforts. Behavioral mistakes also play a huge role. Emotional investing, buying high out of excitement and selling low out of fear, is a direct path to financial frustration. Overconfidence can be just as damaging, causing people to make risky bets without proper analysis. In contrast, disciplined investors develop a plan, stick to it, and view short-term fluctuations as noise, not signals. Let's take an example. Michelle, a 28-year-old engineer in Seattle, read about a cryptocurrency that skyrocketed in a week. She invested $5,000 she had saved. The price doubled, then dropped by 70% in 2 months. Panic set in, and she sold at a loss. Meanwhile, her friend Alex, investing steadily in diversified ETFs, watched his account grow consistently over the same period. One impulsive decision cost Michelle years of compounding. So how do you avoid these mistakes? Start by educating yourself. Understand the basics of risk, returns, and compounding. Develop a long-term strategy rather than chasing short-term gains. Diversify across assets. Minimize fees. And most importantly, control your emotions. Investing isn't a roller coaster. It's a marathon. Those who treat it as such win over time. The takeaway is simple. The wrong investment decisions are often more dangerous than no investment at all. They drain resources, destroy confidence, and delay wealth accumulation. But the right choices, consistent, disciplined, informed, and emotion-free, can transform your financial future before 2026. In the next chapter, we'll tackle career and income mistakes, the traps that keep people stuck in jobs with limited growth, and show how to optimize your earning potential to accelerate wealth. Imagine two professionals, Emma and Ryan, both in their early 30s, living in Chicago. Emma invests time in developing high-value skills, building networks, and negotiating salary increases strategically. Ryan, on the other hand, works long hours, but focuses solely on tasks assigned to him, never seeking promotions or new opportunities. 10 years later, Emma is financially independent, while Ryan struggles to save and sees little growth in his career. The difference? Smart career decisions and maximizing income potential. Many people make the mistake of thinking that simply having a steady job is enough to become wealthy. They assume that clocking in, completing tasks, and collecting a paycheck guarantees progress. While income is crucial, relying solely on it without strategic growth is one of the biggest mistakes that keeps people financially stagnant. Let's consider real examples from the U.S. workforce. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median wage for many fields hasn't increased significantly over the last decade when adjusted for inflation. Professionals who fail to negotiate raises, develop in-demand skills, or seek higher-paying opportunities may find themselves earning less in real terms as the cost of living rises. Meanwhile, those who strategically manage their careers see both financial growth and increased leverage over their time. A common trap is overworking without focusing on value creation. People equate long hours with wealth, but this can backfire. Time is finite, and how you allocate it matters more than how much you spend. Ryan works 60 hours a week, but all the extra effort goes into tasks that don't increase his market value. Emma, by contrast, invests 40 hours smartly, focusing on skills, networking, and side projects that build her earning potential. She ends up ahead with less stress and more freedom. Another mistake is avoiding negotiation. Many Americans leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table by not negotiating salary or benefits. It's uncomfortable, yes, but asking for what you're worth, supported by data on industry standards, can significantly impact lifetime earnings. One research study found that employees who negotiate salaries early in their careers often earn hundreds of thousands more over decades than those who accept the first offer. Entrepreneurial hesitancy is another income trap. People fear leaving a stable job for a business opportunity, yet over-reliance on a single income source is risky. In contrast, side hustles, freelancing, and small businesses can diversify income streams and accelerate wealth accumulation. Even small, consistent efforts can create exponential results by 2026 if approached strategically. Mindset mistakes also influence income stagnation. Fear of failure, imposter syndrome, or low self-confidence often stops people from pursuing higher-paying roles, asking for promotions, or launching businesses. The world rewards action, risk-taking, and value creation. Avoiding these due to fear keeps individuals trapped, while those who embrace growth opportunities gain both financial and personal freedom. Consider a US-based tech professional named David. He worked 50 hours a week at a mid-level role for years, comfortable but financially stuck. After attending a professional conference, he realized the market value of his skills was higher than he imagined. He negotiated a promotion, started a freelance side project, and invested in upskilling courses. Within 2 years, his income doubled, and he had multiple streams of revenue. One strategic decision changed the trajectory of his financial life. Overlooking education and skills development is another subtle but critical mistake. The world is evolving rapidly. Industries are disrupted, new technologies emerge, and in-demand skills shift constantly. Failing to keep up means stagnation. Those who continuously learn, adapt, and expand their expertise position themselves for higher earnings and opportunities that many others miss. Finally, people often ignore the power of networking in career growth. Relationships can unlock promotions, referrals, partnerships, and mentorship opportunities. Networking isn't about collecting contacts. It's about building genuine relationships with people who inspire, challenge, and support you. Many professionals stagnate simply because they underestimate the value of connections in accelerating income potential. The takeaway is clear. Income is the fuel that powers wealth creation, but only when managed strategically. High income without smart planning, skill development, and diversification of revenue streams can leave you stuck. By identifying these career and income mistakes and taking deliberate actions to correct them, you can dramatically increase your financial leverage before 2026. In the next chapter, we'll explore the debt traps that silently drain your wealth, why avoiding them is more important than earning more, and how to eliminate financial shackles once and for all. Picture this: a young couple in Los Angeles, Sarah and Michael, sitting at their kitchen table late at night. Bills are spread out in front of them: credit cards, student loans, car payments, and a personal loan. The numbers feel overwhelming, but they tell themselves, "We'll handle it next month." Sound familiar? This scenario is repeated millions of times across the United States. Debt, when mismanaged, is a silent killer of wealth. Debt itself isn't inherently bad. Mortgages, student loans, and business loans can be tools if used wisely. The mistake lies in high interest, unplanned, or impulsive debt that becomes a permanent drain on your resources. Credit cards, payday loans, and buy now, pay later schemes are the most common culprits. They promise convenience and immediate gratification, but often leave people trapped in cycles of minimum payments and growing interest. Let's take a real example. James, a 27-year-old in Chicago, had a $20,000 credit card balance at 19% interest. He made minimum payments for years, believing he was handling it responsibly. By the time he paid it off, he had spent nearly $10,000 on interest alone. That's $10,000 he could have invested, grown, and compounded over time. This is the power of debt, the silent wealth destroyer that doesn't feel painful until it's too late. Another common trap is using debt to fund lifestyle inflation. People earn more and immediately upgrade their cars, homes, and gadgets, financing them with loans or credit cards. On the surface, they feel wealthier, but in reality, their spending is outpacing their growth. This is one of the fastest ways to sabotage long-term financial security. Student loans are another widespread pitfall. Many Americans graduate with tens of thousands in debt, often without a clear repayment strategy. Delaying repayment or ignoring loan management may feel harmless in the short term, but interest compounds, financial options shrink, and the psychological burden can prevent risk-taking or investment. Wealthy individuals treat debt as a strategic tool, not a convenience. They understand the opportunity cost of carrying debt and actively work to minimize it. Even mortgages, often considered good debt, can become traps if mismanaged. Buying a home that stretches your budget thin can prevent investments, reduce liquidity, and increase stress. The mistake isn't necessarily taking on a mortgage. It's taking on a mortgage without a plan for long-term financial health. Wealthy people often purchase properties strategically, balancing leverage with cash flow and investment potential. Impulse-driven borrowing is another silent killer. Buy now, pay later services make it easy to spend money you don't have. One weekend shopping spree can lead to multiple installments of payments that eat into your budget for months. The trap is subtle because it feels manageable in the moment. The danger compounds silently, leaving many wondering why they aren't building wealth despite earning a decent income. Behavioral psychology plays a huge role in debt accumulation. People often prioritize short-term pleasure over long-term security. They compare themselves to others, buy to signal status, or postpone financial planning, because it feels uncomfortable. Meanwhile, interest accumulates, opportunities are missed, and wealth slips further away. Understanding your psychological triggers around money is just as important as understanding numbers. The solution is a combination of awareness, discipline, and strategy. Start by understanding the total cost of your debt. How much are you paying in interest? What's the timeline for payoff? Prioritize high-interest debt first. Consider refinancing or consolidating when possible to reduce interest costs. And most importantly, create a plan that aligns with your long-term wealth goals rather than short-term desires. Here's a mindset shift. View debt as an enemy that competes with your investments. Every dollar spent on unnecessary interest is a dollar that could have grown exponentially in your portfolio. The wealthy focus relentlessly on minimizing unnecessary liabilities, freeing up capital to invest, grow, and generate passive income. Debt isn't just about numbers, it's about freedom. It limits choices, reduces flexibility, and keeps people trapped in cycles of financial stress. By recognizing these traps and taking decisive action, you reclaim control. You create space for your money to work for you instead of against you. In the next chapter, we'll examine the mindset mistakes that hold people back from wealth. Why how you think about money is often more important than how much you earn. Imagine two people standing in front of the same opportunity. One sees a chance to learn, grow, and invest, while the other sees risk, fear, and reasons to stay where they are. Both earn similar incomes, live in the same city, and have comparable backgrounds. Yet one person is on a trajectory toward wealth, while the other remains trapped in financial mediocrity. The difference isn't income or luck, it's mindset. Mindset is the invisible force behind nearly every financial decision. How you think about money shapes every choice. What jobs you take, whether you save or spend, how you invest, and even whether you take calculated risks. A poor mindset doesn't just slow progress, it actively keeps people broke. One of the most common mistakes is viewing money as finite. People often think, if someone else succeeds, I must lose. This scarcity mentality creates fear-based decisions, such as avoiding investments, refusing to negotiate salaries, or shying away from opportunities. In contrast, an abundance mindset recognizes that opportunities can be created, multiplied, and leveraged. Wealthy individuals see potential everywhere, and that perspective allows them to act boldly where others hesitate. Another mindset trap is overconfidence without knowledge. Many assume that because they earn a decent income, they are automatically equipped to make smart financial decisions. Overconfidence can lead to impulsive investments, speculative spending, or ignoring risks. Knowledge and humility are essential for building sustainable wealth. Procrastination is another mindset killer. People often say, I'll start saving next month, or I'll invest when I have more money. But time is one of the most powerful tools for building wealth. Delaying action, even for a few months, can dramatically reduce the compounding power of investments. Those who act today, no matter how small the steps, gain an advantage over those who wait. Fear is a silent yet pervasive barrier. Fear of losing money, fear of failure, or fear of judgment often prevents people from pursuing opportunities. A young entrepreneur might hesitate to launch a business because she worries about what others will think. An investor might avoid buying stocks because she fears volatility. Fear keeps resources idle, dreams unfulfilled, and wealth unrealized. Envy and comparison are subtle yet destructive mindset errors. People look at neighbors, colleagues or friends and judge their own progress against curated snapshots of success. This can lead to overspending to keep up, poor financial choices, and unnecessary stress. Wealthy individuals avoid this trap by focusing on their own path and long-term goals rather than external benchmarks. Another critical mindset mistake is a fixed view of intelligence and ability. People who believe they are not good with money often avoid learning about finance altogether. But financial literacy is not innate. It is learned. Those who adopt a growth mindset, believing they can improve their knowledge, habits, and skills, are far more likely to achieve financial independence. Consider the story of Alex, a mid-level manager in Houston. He earned a solid income, but lived paycheck to paycheck. Every month, he complained about not having enough, blaming the economy and his company. Then he began studying money, learning about budgeting, investing, and mindset. He rewired his thinking from scarcity to abundance, from fear to calculated action. Within 3 years, his savings grew. He invested wisely, and he even started a side business. His financial reality changed because his mindset changed first. Finally, many people fail to anticipate setbacks. Life is unpredictable. Job loss, emergencies, or unexpected expenses occur. Those with a strong, wealth-oriented mindset prepare for these events, maintain an emergency fund, and plan for resilience. Those who don't often find themselves in crisis, which further erodes confidence and progress. The takeaway is clear. Mindset isn't just a motivational idea. It's a financial tool. Your beliefs, attitudes, and mental habits either accelerate your path to wealth or act as invisible chains that keep you broke. Recognizing and correcting these mindset mistakes is as important as controlling spending, avoiding debt, and investing wisely. In the next chapter, we'll explore the habit mistakes that sabotage wealth, the daily routines and behaviors that quietly erode financial potential, even for people with good intentions and income. Imagine waking up in San Francisco, a city teeming with opportunity and innovation. You're ambitious, you earn well, and you're determined to achieve financial freedom. Yet, despite your income and intentions, your bank account barely grows. Why? The answer isn't income, it's habits. Daily routines, often invisible, have a cumulative effect that either builds wealth or silently sabotages it. Habits are the backbone of financial success or failure. Even small, repeated behaviors can determine whether money multiplies or disappears. Consider a person who spends $10 impulsively every day. It feels insignificant in the moment. But over a year, that adds up to $3,650. Money that could have been invested, saved, or used to pay down debt. Multiply this across multiple habits, and the impact compounds exponentially. One of the most common habit mistakes is failing to track money. People rarely know exactly where their income goes. Subscriptions renew automatically, incidental purchases accumulate, and fees quietly erode savings. Without awareness, it's impossible to control finances effectively. Successful people track every dollar, categorize expenses, and regularly review their budgets. Habitual awareness prevents unconscious wealth leaks. Another destructive habit is reactive spending. Many buy impulsively in response to stress, excitement, or social influence. A late-night online shopping session, a lunch splurge, or an unplanned gadget purchase may feel like a minor indulgence, but when repeated over months, it becomes a significant drain. Breaking this habit requires deliberate pauses, asking, "Do I need this, or do I want it now?" Procrastination is a habit killer too. Delaying financial decisions, whether investing, paying off debt, or creating a budget, compounds problems. Every month of inaction allows interest to accrue, opportunities to slip, and financial stress to mount. Wealthy people establish routines that make action automatic: scheduled investments, automatic bill payments, and regular savings contributions. The habit of action ensures consistency, which is far more powerful than occasional bursts of effort. A lack of habit around learning and skill building is another silent obstacle. Financial literacy isn't a one-time achievement. It's a lifelong practice. People who neglect ongoing education about investing, taxes, budgeting, and personal finance miss opportunities to optimize income, reduce costs, and grow wealth. The habit of continuous learning compounds knowledge just as money compounds in an investment account. Emotional spending is another subtle habit mistake. Many use purchases as a way to cope with boredom, stress, or insecurity. While it provides temporary relief, the financial consequences accumulate over time. The wealthy replace emotional spending with alternative strategies: exercise, social engagement, or hobbies that don't erode financial resources. Changing emotional habits directly protects your wealth. Even good habits can backfire when misaligned with financial goals. Saving diligently without investing, for example, is safer but can limit growth in the long term due to inflation. Conversely, investing aggressively without an emergency fund creates risk. The key is aligning habits with strategy. Wealth isn't built by isolated actions. It's built by consistent, thoughtful routines that compound positively over years. Consider David, a freelance designer in Los Angeles. Initially, he earned a high income but had erratic habits. He spent impulsively, never tracked expenses, and delayed investing. Despite good earnings, he had minimal net worth. By consciously adopting new habits, automatic savings, daily expense tracking, monthly portfolio reviews, David transformed his financial trajectory. Within 3 years, his investments grew steadily, and he reduced unnecessary expenses by thousands annually. Habit change turned potential into results. Finally, habits aren't just about money. They're about mindset and discipline. The routine of evaluating choices, delaying gratification, and staying consistent in financial behaviors strengthens decision-making in all areas of life. Wealth isn't an accident. It's the cumulative effect of hundreds of small, disciplined actions repeated over time. In the next chapter, we'll explore relationship mistakes that can derail wealth, how partnerships, social pressures, and family expectations silently influence financial decisions, and what you can do to navigate them successfully. Picture a young couple in Boston, sitting at their dining table with laptops open, reviewing bills, debts, and savings. They earn decent incomes, yet they constantly argue about money. One wants to invest aggressively, the other wants to spend freely. Over time, these disagreements create stress, poor financial choices, and even missed opportunities. Relationships, whether romantic, familial, or social, play a huge role in financial outcomes, and mistakes in this area are often overlooked. The first relationship trap is merging finances without alignment. Many couples combine incomes, expenses, and debts without clear communication or strategy. One partner's habits can undermine the other's financial goals. It's not about secrecy, it's about alignment. Wealthy couples discuss money openly, set shared goals, and establish systems that protect both partners' interests. Peer pressure is another silent yet powerful driver of financial mistakes. Friends, colleagues, And social circles influence spending, lifestyle, and even investment choices. In the US, where consumer culture is pervasive, it's easy to feel obligated to keep up with others. Buying luxury items, taking expensive vacations, or engaging in risky investments just to fit in can quietly sabotage wealth. Avoiding these traps requires conscious detachment from comparison and a focus on personal financial goals. Family influence can also derail finances. Many people carry habits, beliefs, and fears about money inherited from their parents. These subconscious patterns affect earning, spending, saving, and investing behaviors. For example, someone raised in scarcity might hoard money but avoid investing, while someone raised in abundance might spend without thinking. Recognizing and adjusting these inherited beliefs is critical to building independent wealth. Romantic partnerships can amplify mistakes if both parties are not aligned. Disagreements about budgeting, spending priorities, and long-term goals can lead to tension, debt accumulation, and financial stagnation. Wealthy couples establish joint plans, assign responsibilities, and communicate consistently. They make financial decisions as a team while respecting each other's perspectives. Another trap is co-signing loans or lending money to friends and family without boundaries. In the US, it's common to want to help loved ones, but doing so recklessly can create lasting financial and relational strain. Poor judgment here can wipe out savings, damage trust, and create ongoing stress. Establishing clear boundaries is a key strategy for preserving wealth and relationships simultaneously. Workplace relationships also impact financial trajectories. People often accept lower-paying roles, miss promotions, or take on excessive stress to maintain social harmony or avoid conflict with bosses or peers. This habit sacrifices long-term financial growth for short-term comfort, a subtle but powerful wealth drain. Building assertiveness, negotiating strategically, and choosing environments aligned with your growth is essential. Consider the story of Maria, a marketing professional in Seattle. She had a high-earning partner who spent freely on luxury items. Despite her disciplined saving habits, joint financial obligations and lifestyle pressures prevented her from growing her investments. After establishing boundaries, open communication, and an aligned financial plan, Maria not only preserved her wealth, but accelerated her financial growth while maintaining a healthy relationship. Social media intensifies these relationship-related traps. Platforms showcase curated lifestyles, making you feel inadequate or pressured to match appearances. The wealthy learn to filter these influences, focusing instead on personal goals and intrinsic value rather than external validation. Ultimately, relationships shape financial behavior more than most people realize. The friends you choose, the family habits you internalize, the partner you share finances with, and even professional relationships influence your spending, saving, and investing choices. Aligning your financial habits with the right relationships ensures that your money works for you, not against you. In the next chapter, we'll examine time management mistakes, how poor use of time silently erodes wealth-building potential, and what strategies you can use to reclaim control over your most valuable resource. Imagine a young professional in New York City, juggling multiple projects at work, scrolling endlessly through social media at night, and telling themselves they'll figure out their finances soon. Every day feels packed, yet by the end of the week, little has been done to grow wealth. Time, our most finite and valuable resource, is often mismanaged, and poor habits in this area silently prevent financial growth. One of the most common mistakes is prioritizing short-term comfort over long-term planning. People spend hours binge-watching shows, browsing online stores, or engaging in social media drama, while neglecting tasks that could create financial returns, like budgeting, learning new skills, or investing. Time lost in trivial pursuits is opportunity lost for compounding wealth. Procrastination is a second trap. Many people delay financial decisions because they feel intimidated or overwhelmed. I'll start investing next month, or I'll create a budget when I'm less busy, they tell themselves. The problem is that time doesn't wait. Even small, consistent actions taken today have a dramatic impact when compounded over months and years. Waiting only reduces your advantage. Another mistake is failing to schedule strategically. High-income earners often maximize wealth not by working harder, but by working smarter. Strategic use of time, dedicating focused hours to income-generating tasks, skill development, and financial management leads to exponential results. Conversely, those who drift from task to task without a plan often feel busy, but remain stagnant financially. Multitasking is also a hidden enemy. People believe they're efficient when juggling several tasks at once, but research shows productivity drops significantly when attention is divided. Mismanaged time leads to poor quality work, missed opportunities, and wasted energy. Those who dedicate focused time blocks to critical financial tasks gain leverage over their peers. Neglecting long-term projects in favor of instant gratification is another trap. Building wealth often requires patience and sustained effort. Starting a side business, investing consistently, or learning high-value skills. Yet many abandon these efforts prematurely because they don't produce immediate rewards. Wealth is rarely an overnight phenomenon. It's a marathon built on consistent, intentional action over time. Consider the story of Jake, a 34-year-old freelance designer in Los Angeles. He spent years too busy to organize his finances or learn about investing. Each year, he made small amounts of progress, but remained far from financial independence. Once he implemented time blocking, prioritizing income-generating work, and dedicating weekends to financial education, his trajectory changed dramatically. By consistently managing his time, Jake was able to increase income, reduce debt, and invest strategically. Time became his ally instead of his adversary. A related mistake is failing to automate. Wealthy people understand that time spent today creating systems saves decades of effort. Automating savings, investments, bill payments, and recurring financial tasks ensures consistency, reduces errors, and frees mental energy for high-value pursuits. Neglecting automation is essentially leaving money and time on the table. Even networking and relationship building require time management. High-value connections aren't formed accidentally. They require deliberate effort. People who neglect this often miss career opportunities, investment insights, or mentorship, which indirectly erodes wealth potential. Finally, failing to reflect and review is a critical mistake. Time management isn't just about scheduling, it's about evaluation. Setting goals, reviewing progress, and adjusting strategies ensures that your daily activities align with long-term financial objectives. Without reflection, even the most productive schedule may not contribute to wealth growth. The takeaway is simple. Wealth is not only about money, it's about how you use your most precious resource, time. Poor time management silently erodes potential, while deliberate, focused, and strategic use of time accelerates financial growth. Those who master time maximize the power of compounding, learning, and opportunity. In the next chapter, we'll explore financial literacy mistakes, how gaps in knowledge can keep people poor, and what strategies you can implement to become financially fluent and make smarter decisions. Imagine a person in Miami who earns a decent income, pays bills on time, and thinks they are financially savvy. Yet, despite earning more than many peers, their net worth barely grows. The reason isn't laziness or bad luck. It's a lack of financial literacy. Knowledge gaps silently sabotage wealth, preventing people from making informed choices about saving, investing, taxes, and long-term planning. One of the most common mistakes is misunderstanding the difference between income and wealth. People focus on how much they earn instead of how much they keep and grow. High-income earners often fall into lifestyle inflation traps, spending all additional income instead of investing it. Wealth grows not just from earning, but from disciplined financial management and strategic allocation of resources. Another critical mistake is underestimating compound interest. Many avoid investing because they think their contributions are too small to matter. Yet, consistent, modest investments made early can snowball into substantial wealth. Conversely, debt compounds against you, and failure to understand these mechanics can leave people trapped in financial cycles. Financial literacy empowers individuals to leverage compounding for growth, rather than fall victim to it. Taxes are another area where knowledge, or the lack of it, makes a huge difference. Many people fail to understand deductions, credits, retirement account benefits, and tax-advantaged investment vehicles. Mismanaging taxes can cost thousands or tens of thousands over a lifetime. Wealthy individuals use tax planning proactively, not reactively, ensuring that money works efficiently for them instead of leaking away unnecessarily. A common trap is ignoring retirement planning. Many people assume they'll start later, thinking Social Security or future income will cover them. Yet, delaying contributions reduces the compounding effect of retirement accounts dramatically. Understanding the mechanisms of 401ks, IRAs, and investment growth is crucial for long-term financial security. Knowledge gaps here can mean the difference between a comfortable retirement and financial struggle. Investments themselves can be confusing. Many people avoid stocks, ETFs, and bonds because they feel complex or risky. Without understanding risk management, asset allocation, and diversification, people either avoid investing altogether or take unnecessary risks that can lead to significant losses. Financial literacy equips individuals to make informed, confident decisions, balancing growth and safety. Debt management is another area heavily influenced by literacy. Understanding interest rates, repayment strategies, and loan hierarchies allows people to reduce costs and accelerate wealth accumulation. Without this knowledge, individuals often pay more than necessary, extending timelines for financial independence. Consider Emily, a 31-year-old nurse in Denver. She earned well, but had little savings and no investments. She didn't understand retirement accounts, tax benefits, or the power of compound interest. After dedicating a few months to learning financial basics, she set up automated savings, maxed her 401k contributions, and diversified investments. Within a year, her financial situation dramatically improved, not because she earned more, but because she learned how to use money intelligently. Another mistake is over-reliance on financial advice without understanding it. Many people blindly follow tips from friends, social media, or advisors without grasping the underlying principles. This can lead to poor decisions, overexposure to risk, or missed opportunities. Financial literacy allows individuals to evaluate advice critically and implement strategies effectively. Finally, a lack of literacy creates unnecessary anxiety and fear around money. People avoid financial decisions because they feel unqualified, which often leads to inaction, a major wealth killer. Knowledge empowers confidence, allowing individuals to take strategic, informed steps toward growth rather than being paralyzed by uncertainty. The takeaway is simple. Financial literacy isn't optional. Knowledge gaps cost money, time, and opportunities. Those who invest in understanding money, investments, taxes, and planning position themselves to take control of their financial destiny, turning mistakes into opportunities for growth. In the next chapter, we'll examine mindset and behavioral mistakes. Why understanding human psychology around money is often the key to escaping financial traps before 2026. Imagine two individuals, both earning $70,000 a year, living in Houston. One invests, saves, and consistently grows wealth. The other earns the same, but seems perpetually broke. What separates them isn't income or luck, it's behavior and mindset. How you think about money, how you respond to risk, and the decisions you make under pressure often determine your financial trajectory more than raw numbers. One of the most common mistakes is allowing fear to dominate decisions. Fear of loss keeps many people from investing, starting businesses, or negotiating higher salaries. They cling to safe options that often yield minimal growth, while opportunities pass by. In contrast, financially savvy individuals embrace calculated risks, understanding that avoiding risk entirely can be more dangerous than managing it. Overconfidence is another behavioral trap. People assume they understand markets, investments, or financial planning better than they do. They make impulsive decisions, chase trends, or ignore advice, which often results in losses. Recognizing the limits of your knowledge and seeking guidance when necessary is a hallmark of wealthy behavior. Loss aversion, valuing potential losses more than equivalent gains, is a subtle yet powerful barrier. People often sell investments too early to lock in gains or avoid losses, undermining long-term growth. Successful individuals recognize that temporary setbacks are part of the journey and that staying the course is often the best strategy. Procrastination, again, is a recurring behavioral mistake. People delay financial actions because they feel overwhelmed, intimidated, or uncertain. Every month of inaction allows debt to accumulate, savings to stagnate, and investment opportunities to be missed. Small, consistent actions, taken early and regularly, are far more effective than waiting for the perfect moment. Emotional spending is also behavioral. People make purchases to cope with stress, boredom, or social pressure. While it provides temporary satisfaction, the financial consequences accumulate quietly. Recognizing triggers, pausing before spending, and developing alternative coping strategies are essential for building long-term wealth. Another trap is envy and comparison. Observing friends, colleagues, or social media influencers can lead to overspending, risk-taking, or unrealistic expectations. Wealthy individuals focus on personal goals, long-term planning, and intrinsic satisfaction, avoiding the pitfalls of external comparison. Consider the story of Lisa, a 29-year-old entrepreneur in San Diego. She often compared herself to peers who seemed more successful. She hesitated to invest in her business due to fear of failure and avoided building her portfolio because she felt it was too risky. After working on her mindset, embracing calculated risk, focusing on personal goals, and building confidence in her decisions. She doubled her income and accelerated wealth accumulation within 2 years. Another behavioral mistake is short-term thinking. People prioritize immediate gratification over long-term benefits, whether through excessive spending, ignoring investments, or failing to plan for emergencies. Wealth is built by those who delay gratification, make disciplined choices, and maintain focus on long-term objectives. Even small daily behaviors compound into significant outcomes. Consistently reviewing finances, investing automatically, negotiating salary increases, and avoiding impulse purchases are minor actions that, repeated over months and years, create exponential results. Conversely, neglecting these behaviors keeps people stuck in financial stagnation. The takeaway is clear. Mindset and behavior are as critical as income or investment decisions. Understanding psychology, controlling impulses, embracing calculated risks, and focusing on long-term goals transform potential into wealth. Without this behavioral alignment, even the best financial strategies may fail. In the next chapter, we'll conclude with the ultimate wealth mistakes, a synthesis of all previous lessons, showing how avoiding these traps collectively can set you on a path to financial freedom before 2026. Imagine standing at the edge of 2026, looking back over the past few years. You see a fork in the road. One path is lined with small, seemingly harmless mistakes: impulsive spending, poor time management, fear-driven decisions, unaligned relationships. The other path is disciplined, informed, and deliberate, habits that compound over time, turning even modest income into significant wealth. The difference between those who arrive at financial freedom and those who don't often lies in avoiding these ultimate mistakes. The first ultimate mistake is ignoring the compounding effect of small errors. Minor financial missteps, like skipping contributions to retirement accounts, making impulse purchases, or failing to educate yourself, might seem trivial today, but their effects accumulate. Over months and years, they can amount to hundreds of thousands of dollars lost. Conversely, small, consistent positive actions, saving, investing, learning, also compound, creating massive advantages over time. Another major mistake is overestimating income and underestimating expenses. Many people assume that a high salary guarantees wealth. Reality tells a different story. If your lifestyle expenses grow in tandem with income, wealth remains stagnant. Financial freedom is achieved not by how much you earn, but by how wisely you allocate and grow your resources. Behavioral mistakes are equally critical. Emotional spending, procrastination, fear of investing, envy, and comparison silently sabotage wealth accumulation. Even with good income and knowledge, these behaviors can prevent consistent action, resulting in stagnation. Recognizing and managing psychological triggers is essential for building sustainable wealth. Debt, when mismanaged, is perhaps the most powerful ultimate mistake. High-interest debt, lifestyle-driven borrowing, and co-signing loans without strategy can cripple financial progress. Avoiding or minimizing debt, especially consumer debt, and using leverage wisely are hallmarks of financially successful individuals. A common yet overlooked mistake is failing to align actions with long-term goals. People often act reactively, spending, investing, or borrowing based on short-term pressures rather than strategic planning. Wealthy individuals maintain a clear vision, align daily habits with long-term objectives, and make decisions deliberately to compound advantages over time. Time mismanagement is another silent wealth killer. Opportunities are limited by hours, yet many people squander this precious resource on trivial tasks, distractions, or unproductive routines. Prioritizing time for income generation, skill development, financial planning, and personal growth is non-negotiable for accelerating wealth accumulation. Financial literacy gaps complete the picture of ultimate mistakes. Ignorance of taxes, investing, retirement accounts, risk management, and compounding prevents informed decision-making. Education empowers confidence, reduces costly errors, and allows individuals to make the most of available resources. Consider the story of David and Lisa, a couple living in Chicago. Both earned solid incomes, but made small mistakes in spending, time management, and investment habits. They struggled to build wealth despite their earnings. Once they identified these ultimate mistakes, tracking every dollar, aligning habits with long-term goals, reducing debt, investing consistently, and focusing on mindset, they transformed their financial trajectory. Within a few years, they significantly accelerated their net worth and gained financial freedom. Ultimately, the difference between financial stagnation and wealth isn't luck. It's awareness, discipline, and action. Avoiding these 12 chapters' mistakes collectively creates a framework for success. Controlling spending, investing intelligently, managing debt, aligning relationships, maximizing time, and cultivating the right mindset. Each small, deliberate choice compounds, creating unstoppable momentum toward financial freedom before 2026. The key takeaway is this: wealth is built by those who avoid the silent, repeated mistakes that drain resources, and by acting with intention across all areas of money. The earlier you recognize and correct these behaviors, the faster your path to financial independence. Every decision matters, every habit compounds, and every action or inaction shapes your financial destiny. As we conclude this journey through the mistakes that silently keep people broke, think about the bigger picture. Every spending habit, mindset error, investment misstep, or time management slip we discussed isn't just an isolated event. They form patterns that shape your financial destiny. But here's the thing: awareness alone isn't enough. Knowledge without execution won't get you to financial freedom. That's where the next step comes in. If you're ready to take everything you've learned and turn it into real, actionable wealth-building strategies, you need to see how these principles work in practice and help you to avoid being broke and start your journey towards being rich. Click on the video popping up on the screen